WagerTalk continues to be an innovator in this industry, and our WagerBucks program is just one example. Because it's the holidays and we're feeling festive, we're giving you $100 worth of WagerBucks for only $49 using promo code WB49 at checkout. So how do they work? It's simple. You buy credits in bulk at a discounted rate and then apply them dollar for dollar towards your purchase. Use your purchase WagerBucks on $2 Tuesday, $9 packages on Monday. Buy your favorite 5% plays with or without the guarantee. Grab a 7-day all-access pass or even a 12-month package. That's right, purchase WagerBucks can be used on everything with no restrictions at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Due to the incredible savings, this special offer is limited to one per customer. From all of us here at WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet, we wish you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year.
Here we go.
All right, here we go, guys. Welcome in here, and happy Wednesday on this 22nd day of December. Already one cancellation in the association, but we are left with 5 games on the card here tonight. We're going to do our best here to break a few of these down for you, see if we can't find any angles here tonight. And to help us out, we have brought in the C Crew. This is just who's left over. Really, it is. Andy Lang in the house, as is Rob Dino. And look at what you leave the door open long enough. Look what comes swinging back in. Steve Merrill finds his way back in, props and all, guys. Welcome in on this Wednesday. Andy Lang, the prop god, here with us. I imagine, Andy, the props have been a bit interesting here in the NBA over the last week or so. But what do you got going on right now over at WagerTalk.com?
Well, the NBA props have been interesting and profitable. These crazy rosters are giving us all kinds of opportunities in the prop world. They really are. We're up 49 units since November 18th, just in NBA player props. We've got a pack loaded today, and bring it on. Chaos brings uncertainty, and it brings uncertainty with the lines, and we're taking advantage of it. So I'm enjoying this, and we have an opportunity with Jokic, who is going to be guarded by Derek Favors tonight. Oh. So these are the opportunities that present themselves in the prop betting world. So I'm actually loving life in the NBA.
All right, good stuff there. And Rob Vino, welcome back. Feel like we did just see you 24 hours ago. Always a pleasure. Congrats. I believe our Miami Heat over hit last night here from the show. So we look to continue the profit train here. And I know you got stuff locked and loaded over at WagerTalk.com. What's going on tonight?
Yeah, we're locked in with college football. That play got up yesterday. It's night game tonight. This is, I think, the last time we'll see one game. From here on out, we're going to see multiple games in college football bowl action. So excited about that. NBA, kind of back to the wait and see approach, Joe. I mean, as we do this late afternoon on the East Coast, still waiting for a couple of rosters to get finalized here for tonight. And then I think there's a couple that we want to move on here. But let me say this. It seems like every time I'm on the show with Andy Lang and props get mentioned, he comes up with a new Denver Nugget. We've gone through Michael Porter Jr., we've gone through Will Barton, and we've now moved on to Jokic. So I know you live in land of the Pacers, but the Nuggets have to be your favorite team the way I hear it every time I'm on the show.
Damn straight, T. You know that. Well, I think he and Ski have now officially put the Indiana Pacers on the oh, hell no. Absolutely not. They are on the hell no list. So Ski is still steaming right now. But Steve Merrill, welcome back in, my friend. Taking a little reprieve from the coaching duties, I see. But always a pleasure to see you, my man. And I'm going to guess you've got math for us here in just a second, as well as, I am sure, some best bets locked and loaded. Talk to us.
Yeah, I couldn't bring a prop on the show as I normally do because we have the prop master, Andy Lang. That would just be rude, right, Rob Vino? We can't do that. So I brought an angle of the day from John Ryan, which we're going to get to momentarily. We might actually get to it 2 or 3 times if I'm feeling up to it today. We'll just see how everything plays out. But also, since Rob is on the show, I do have a 2-for-1 special tonight, college and pro basketball best bets. Number one ranked this year, Joe Raineri at WagerTalk.com. Not Joe Raineri, Steve Merrill's number one ranked this year at WagerTalk.com in college and pro basketball combined. I've been number one each of the last 2 years now in college hoops. People ask me all the time, Rob Vino, should I get college? Should I get pro? $1.79 for a month of each. I've solved that problem. And Rob Vino, you can act on it now. You get both for the price of one. It's a 2-for-1 special. $179 gets you both college and pro, so you no longer have to decide. You no longer have to call Andy Lang at 3 a.m. and say, which one should I get on? Hoops 179 gets it done. HOOPS 179 gets you a full 30 days of my number one ranked college and pro basketball. Hoops 179. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Oh, thank God that is over. I'll tell you that. All right, good stuff, Rob Vino. We didn't have to do a whole ton of math, but let's get into our contrarian play of the day here, fellas. And really, it's an interesting matchup here because this one team just continues to get no love in the marketplace. And that team, well, it's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder, in which we have actually cast a few of these contrarian plays on over the months. They are at a 6 number now as the money continues to roll in on those Denver Nuggets. And yet OKC, they've won their last 2. They're 3-0 against the number in their last 3. And they still can't get any love here in the marketplace. So we're going to back them as the contrarian guards are giving them the thumbs up here. So talk to us, Andy Lang, with the OKC Thunder at home tonight. Are you willing to back the contrarian gods in this one?
No, I'm not. I'm not with the contrarian gods here. There's too many mismatches across the board here. We'll just give a couple of props here. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I like him to go under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. He's gone under this total in 5 straight games. I just don't see him getting a lot of rebounds tonight. With Jokic in the paint, he should grab a majority of those. There's going to be a lot of other guys, and he's just not been very active in this category. So look for Alexander under 9.5 rebounds and assists. And then for tonight, they're starting Derek Favors, so you got to look at Jokic. His total for points, rebounds, and assists is 50.5. This might be an all-time high, and for good reason. I can't take 50.5. It's a little too high, so I want to isolate one category. So I'm going to go with rebounds. I'll take him to get over 13.5 rebounds. The last game Favors started was against Memphis. He was on Steven Adams, and Steven Adams ended up with 14 rebounds. So Steven Adams can get 14 rebounds. Surely Jokic can get there. Jokic should have a field day. He should dominate. One of the reasons I don't want to take this high number, and this is one thing you have to be careful about these days, is when they're putting these numbers really high, any type of blowout situation, and anytime these coaches have a chance to sit these stars, they will. So Jokic could have a huge game, but if he doesn't need to play the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game, he could be sitting there at a total of 47 points, rebounds, and assists, which is a huge day, but still not over. So got to be a little careful with these big-time numbers. Break it down into categories, so I'll stick with Jokic over 13.5 rebounds.
Wow. Jeez, now we're getting blowouts. And not only is he not going with the contrarian gods, Rob Dino, he's already calling blowout here is what he is calling here. Listen, 8-5 against the number as a home dog, this OKC team. The question I have is, what happens when Jokic goes to the bench, Rob Vino? What do you think?
Well, yeah, so much on my mind after what I've heard the last 5 minutes, Joe. First of all, Steve Merrill talks about manners and then rambles for 10 minutes about himself. That's not good manners.
I rambled politely.
And I love, again, I've said this before, but I love the fact that Andy Lang considers the contrarian gods or talks as if they're a team themselves. We bucked those guys last night, the contrarian gods. They were probably without 5 guys with COVID, and they didn't get the money last night. We're happy to go against them. I'd have to be in Andy's corner here, though. As good as OKC has been, Denver, getting healthier and healthier by the day. We'll see if Gordon and JaMychal Green go here. I assume that they will. They went in their last contest where they scored 133 points. We're talking about them as a contrarian game, Joe, but we should be talking about them from a totals perspective. They are 15-2 to the over in their last 17 games, and the last 6 have all gone over this number of 212. I think Denver probably just puts up too many points for Oklahoma City, which is a sporadic shooting team. I don't see them defensively slowing Denver down in this one. So I'll lay the points with Denver and buck the contrarian god, see if I can get 2 in a row against them.
You know, this does not end well, Steve Merrill. You know this, my friend. So go ahead. Talk to me, my man. OKC tonight. Can the contrarian gods convince you that this might be a side worth investing in? What do you think?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't interrupt anybody with that 2-for-1 Hoops 179 special. That was politely done. But I will give Rob credit here, mentioning Denver's over-under streak. I've got it, 13-1 to the over the last 14. And didn't they do that a couple years ago in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, that, first couple rounds there, they went over almost every game. They've done this before. And isn't this something that Rob transitioned so nicely into the angle of the day by John Ryan, who I just did a Bitcoin S&P video with an hour ago. It's on YouTube right now. Check my Twitter feed. Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L for that link. But John likes the underdog here. He agrees. He blesses the contrarian play. He knew that would put Joe Raineri in a good mood, and it would allow us to read the angle of the day. And basically, it's you bet on an underdog that's gone over the total by 30 points or more the last 5 games, and they're playing a team that just went over by 20 or more. So that over angle does come into play here, and that favors the dog, 74-36 against the spread. And he likes a little sprinkle on the money line as well at plus 200. So the fact that the Thunder are shooting a little bit better actually does favor them as a contrarian tonight. And that's been their problem this year. They're just terrible offensively. They shoot 41.5% from the field. Ask my 0-12 against the spread. William Mary tried. They got blown out again today. That offense does not help you cover spreads, yet Oklahoma City is covering because they are starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. So I will lean towards a contrarian dog tonight, plus 6.
In the future, just lead with I'm going with the contrarian gods here tonight. We could have eliminated all of that. We're good to go. All right, Thunder, plus 6 in the contrarian play of the day. All right, guys, let's move on here to our featured matchup. And boy, oh boy, this is interesting. Look at the Boston Celtics taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers, the very profitable Cleveland Cavaliers. The 13-1 against the number in the last 14 games. Cleveland Cavaliers somehow find themselves as a pretty good dog here. 5.5, 6 points total. 211.5 is what the total still hanging around. So talk to me, Andy Lang. Let's start from a prop perspective in this one. Cleveland's got COVID issues, but most of those guys on that list, not major contributors thus far this year. So what do you think? Any opportunities in the prop betting market in this game?
Well, first off, I've never seen a play that was like, well, if they go over and under, then you take them ATS. That was quite the trend that we have there. I also think we got a part. I think we parlayed Bitcoin and SPY for a play tonight, so I would look to lock that in. Well, for tonight, I'm going to look at the Celtics' second worst team at giving up points to point guards, and we look at who Cleveland does have. They do have Darius Garland, so if you're looking at where Cleveland is going to attack tonight, when they don't have Mobley, when they don't have Jarrett Allen, Garland should have a field day. His point total is only 21.5 points. I think that's a very fair number to take the over. I'm also going to take an under for the Celtics. Jason Tatum under 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I brought up this point earlier. Sometimes these books have these numbers way too high. The last 3 games when they've had Jaylen Brown in the lineup, Tatum has gone under this total. When Brown is in there, he doesn't need to play hero ball tonight. And when you look at some of the matchups, Boston should have some advantages. You got Dean Wade and Kevin Love, who I expect to go. Markkanen, not exactly the best front court. So I don't think this is a game where Tatum has to take over and score all the points. And like I said, we're on a 3-0 run to the under here. This number seems a little bit too high. I know you're always nervous taking some of these big-name guys under. That's where the value's at. So my favorite play in this one's Jason Tatum under 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
So what do you think here, Rob? Just seems like I don't know, a bit of a overreaction from the betting market here. Boston, even with Brown and Tatum, which has not exactly been the most efficient offensive Celtics team this year. What do you think we're going to get here? You think it's are they worthy of being this kind of favorite?
Well, I mean, it's obviously hard to play against the Cavaliers after what they've done this season so far against the spread. However, the beauty of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Joe, has been that front line and that fence that they just set in front of the rim where nobody can score in the paint. It's been the key to their success all season long. And when the two biggest parts of that defensive fence are missing, I think that opens it up for opponents. You don't have Evan Mobley. You don't have Jared Allen. Instead, you have Dean Wade and Kevin Love. That's not going to stop anybody or intimidate anybody from scoring inside the paint here, which Jason Tatum is very good at, which the Celtics can be good at. And it also helps to not expose a Celtic deficiency, which is, of course, interior play. They don't have the biggest team in the world. So when you can, cut the size down a little bit and make this a smaller game, an up and down game, so to speak, it favors the Boston Celtics. Laying 6.5 is difficult with them against this team. I think I would lean that way, but it's amazing how much the over has been played, Joe, because it kind of shapes up with the exact same analysis as we had last night for Miami and Indiana. Take the bigs away, let the guards play, and all of a sudden you get a lot of points. I could see an awful lot of points here. Andy talked about the advantage Darius Garland could have on one side of the floor. That same advantage is extended to Tatum and Brown on the other side. Marcus Smart is not the straightest shooter in the world, but I feel like he can score points here as well. So I think maybe over is a decent look, and I would probably lean Boston Celtics here. Cleveland's been predicated on that defensive side of the floor, especially in the interior, and those guys are the guys that are missing.
So first thing I want to ask you here, Steve Merrill, you don't happen to have another John Ryan angle of the day for this game, do you? Are we done with okay, good. So now I want to know from you here, Cleveland Cavaliers getting, I don't know, let's call it 7 by the time tip-off here. You willing to get in front of that 13-1 ATS train here in the last 14?
Well, John Ryan and I were talking about catching a falling knife in the financial markets, or like with an 0-12 Raineri point spread team. We've talked about that on a lot of shows before. So I'm not about, I normally don't get in front of a team that's on a 13-1 spread run. You want to wait for things to see things turn. But I will say, normally you look for a catalyst for things to turn, whether it's a hot or cold streak. And I do think we, as both Rob and Andy mentioned, we have some catalysts this year that could turn this tide for Cleveland. And I think the COVID protocol is a big one. They last played on Saturday. That was their 6th straight win and cover in a row. Now they've had some players out with the protocol. That has to be a distraction. They're off now for several days, and they're playing what I think is an underrated Boston team that on the season's one game below 500, yet they're still 16-14 against the spread. And also you look at Cleveland's recent games. During this 6-game win streak, they've been favored every game. The last 2 times before that, they lost when they were an underdog straight up. Now, they did go 1-1 against the spread, I know, but they went 0-2 as a dog. They've gone 6-0 as a favorite. They're now a good-sized dog for a reason. So I think there are some things setting up here for this point spread run maybe to come to an end. I like Boston in this game minus 6.5. And as you said, Joe, some of the leading indicator books are starting to juice it towards the Celtics. So we might see some 7s out there by tip-off.
Yep. Should be an interesting matchup here. We'll see if Brown and Tatum can actually get on the same page for once here tonight with Cleveland and the Celtics. Now we'll move on, of course, to our overtime matchup, a game in which we'll focus on the total. And, well, what better here on this card tonight than talk about the Houston Rockets taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. We are hovering right around that 224 mark here, and we still don't have any Giannis. We know that. We don't have any Bobby Portis. We don't have, I believe, the DiVincenzo's gone. Pretty much, we're only left with 2 of the big 3 here, and when those 2 leave the court, not exactly a scoring fest here, which makes this game very interesting from a total perspective. What do you think, Andy Lang, from a prop betting perspective? Is there anyone in this game that you would focus on?
Yeah, I actually have 3 plays, and this one's going to be my best bet. I'll go to my other 2, and I feel like I got a pretty decent read on this one. It's overtime, so I'll give you an over. Christian Wood will go over 17.5 points. He's gone over 20 points in 6 out of 8 games, and if DeMarcus Cousins is going to be guarding him, not the most defensive-minded person these days, I feel like Christian Wood could have a pretty good advantage there, so I would definitely take Christian Wood over 17.5 points. And if we scroll down really deep into the props, I like Grayson Allen under 5.5 rebounds plus assists. He's gone under this total in 8 straight games. Middleton is back tonight, so Middleton's going to be doing a lot more ball handling. He can eat up rebounds away from Allen. He can also eat up a couple of assists. And Grayson Allen is averaging less than 1 assist a game this month. He's gone entire games with 0 assists. So I'll follow the trend. This has hit 8 games in a row. I'll definitely take it to go 9. So Grayson Allen under 5.5 rebounds and assists, and Christian Wood over 17.5 points.
All right, there you go. Talk to me here, Rob Vino, Houston Rockets, Bucks. You trust it to go over in this one?
I do. I do. We've seen, if we go back to last year, we did a lot of these shows where Giannis was out. Steve, I remember one where we were both on the panel, and just because Giannis is out doesn't mean the Bucks stop scoring. And the interesting thing is, if we talk about who's out, we have to talk about who's returning from the other night. Again, Andy just mentioned Middleton and Grayson Allen are both back for this game. They didn't play the other night. And Drew Holiday, back tonight, did not play the other night. Holiday and Grayson Allen were rested by their head coach, despite the fact that the lineup was totally depleted. He chose to rest them, and Middleton had what they listed as a knee injury. He's back. So all those guys back, it strengthens the bench. DeMarcus Cousins in the middle, again, to Andy's point, makes them less of a defensive team here. Houston is just push, 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 score, score, score. The Rockets, 6 of their last 7 games have gone over the number. They've allowed, defensively, 113 or more in 6 of those 7. The Bucks defense has been no better. The Bucks have allowed 113 or more in 5 of their last 7. So to me, not a lot of defense on the floor here, but there is a lot of pace. There's a lot of shot makers. 224 seems very reasonable here, so I would say play it over.
All right, looking at the over. And how about you, Steve Merrill? Like a lot of points in this one?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the setup here, it's kind of like a mini bye week. I always like in the NFL when the team's off a bye week and they're struggling offensively, I always like to look at the over out of the gate because I think they fix a lot of their problems with the time off. And I mean, in the NBA, they've been off for 3 days here since Saturday. That's kind of a mini bye week. And they're coming off 43 and 39% shooting. That last game shorthanded. I do think it's a bounce back spot here. I'm not sure I'm going to lay 9.5 points in a game like this, but I do think the over is the safer play. And if you look at the Bucks just big picture, the last time they had a really bad offensive outing was back the first week of December, back on December 2nd. They had only 93 points, 37.5% shooting at Toronto. They came out, put up 124 and shot 45% against your Miami Heat in the very next game. So I do think it's a good bounce back spot, and I think the scheduling setup favors Milwaukee to get back on track offensively. And Houston definitely can give up some points, especially on the road this year where they're allowing 115 points a game and 48% shooting. So I would agree with the over 224 in this one.
All right, keep an eye. Christian Wood, guys, still listed as questionable on the board. So just make sure before all is said and done, because without him, I don't know. Robert, have they called you yet in case Wood can't go? Yeah, because that's about as good a shot as we got of them covered. All right, guys, that sound you hear is the dogs barking. Let's go, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, we got 5 games on the card tonight, 5 dogs to choose from, including, the Magic. Look at that, Rob. Cavs plus 6.5, the Rockets 9.5, of course, the Thunder plus 6, and the hell no, Sacramento Kings making a list again as a underdog plus 4.5. So Andy Lang, kick us off here. Which one of these would you like to make your dog tonight?
I'm going to go with just the ATS machines, the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's not too many games to choose from, so I'm just going to go with them. The stats have already been gone over throughout this game. They're covering, they're winning a lot, and I know they're without their twin towers, Mobley and Allen. But I also think it's a little bit more of a fade of this Boston Celtics teams that I just don't really trust. They're not very consistent. Brown and Tatum are not on the same page. They can be exposed at the guard position. I think Osman has a good game. I think Garland has a good game. So I'm just going to take the points with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just can't argue against a team with the ATS record that they have. So give me Cleveland tonight.
Gotta love it. He goes the old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, good stuff there. How about it, Rob Vino? Where might you be looking here on the card tonight for your dog?
Well, because of my severe lack of anticipation for this segment of the show, I've already eliminated two of the better ones on the list because I said I like Boston and I said I like Denver. So there goes two. And what are you stuck with here? I'm looking at Orlando, Houston, or the Sacramento Kings. One of those three, right? You know, I don't want to get buzzed by Robert, so let's try Houston here, plus 9.5 against Milwaukee. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. And I don't see a lot of defense right now on the Milwaukee side with this lineup that they're going to put out there. Houston has been competitive in a bunch of games this year. They don't go away. So I think 9.5 for Milwaukee might be just a shade too much. We'll take Houston plus the 9.5.
Yeah, no doubt. Below average defense without the Greek Freak for sure in that one. All right, Robert, look at that. You got a +1 with the Rock. Even Robert ain't betting the Rockets. Steve Merrill, talk to us here. Where is the dog on the card you're looking at tonight?
All right, as a handicapper, we use process of elimination, right? The Magic are coming off a straight-up win. The Hawks are off a loss, so I'm not going to take a terrible Magic team against a focused Hawks squad. I already said I like Boston over Cleveland. I think it's a bad spot for Cleveland. I actually have a best bet on the Clippers Sacramento Kings. That's a late-night best bet, so I'm not going to give any hints on that one. That's for my personal clients at WagerTalk.com. Get a 2-for-1 special with Hoops 179, by the way. So that leaves us with two games here. Houston, Milwaukee. I don't want to be rude to Rob Vino, so he's already taken the Houston Rockets. So that leaves us with ding, 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 the angle of the day, the Oklahoma City Thunder once again, +6. It's all come full circle beginning and end of the show. And let's keep in mind once again why this works, because when a team has gone over by 30 points or more their previous 5 games or facing a team that's gone over by 20 in their last game, that underdog, remarkably, it makes sense, is 74-36 against the spread. John Ryan gave us that one. I can't take credit for it. Thunder, +6 or +200. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line if you're looking for a dog.
It's a lot of math. All right, guys, there you go. You got your dogs. Now it is time to figure out where they want to go with a best bet here. Again, only 5 games on the card here tonight. So, Andy, we'll start with you. 60 seconds on the clock. When you put it all together, talk to us about one of your favorite plays here tonight.
Best bet, it's got to be a DeMarcus Cousins under, and I'll take him under. Got to take him under 13.5 points. His last game, he had a real shot to do some damage. Played 27 minutes, no Giannis, no Middleton, and he had 12 points. So now we have Middleton back tonight. Even fewer scoring attempts. Holiday is going to be in there. I don't see Cousins getting enough attempts to get over this total. So I will roll with DeMarcus Cousins under 13.5 points. On the side note, I thoroughly enjoyed watching Isaiah Thomas play with the Lakers last night. Joe Johnson signed with the Boston Celtics today. I am thoroughly enjoying this stretch of the NBA. At one point, the Orlando Magic had more members of the Lakeland Magic on their roster just so they could get a game going. I know it's frustrating for everybody, but I'm having the time of my life these days.
Listen, you cannot. Joe John never met a shot he didn't like. You got to love that, man. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to go DeMarcus Cousins under 3. We'll talk about that. Under what is it? Was he got a half a 3 tonight? I think is good to go. That's a good prop too as well. Talk to me here, Rob Vino. A lot of what's the word? Andy was shit on the board here tonight. So tell us, what exactly are you going to make your best bet?
Well, I'm hoping that after it's my turn, Steve Merrill will again reaffirm why we should be betting teams against the spread because they went over or under 76 or whatever the hell John Ryan's angle was. I still can't quite understand it, even with his help. And he's usually a big help to me. I'm going to do what we did last night, Joe. I'm going to play Cleveland-Boston over the total because the bigs are missing from the game. The physicality is missing from the game. Without Evan Mobley and without Jared Allen, there's zero rim protection for the Cavs. Again, I'll refer back to what Andy said about Darius Garland, point guard against Boston's point guard generous defense. Both guards, all guards in the game for Cleveland should have success, Ricky Rubio included. I think the Boston big scorers will show up here as well. This game is really rocketed from 211.5 to 216.5, so don't wait much longer. Give me Cleveland-Boston over 216.5 best bet.
All right. Love it. Oh, boy. 60 seconds, Robert. Keep your finger on the buzzer here because this should be a lot of math coming your way. A lot of there's the props, and he's got a beeper.
Tony Finn, he couldn't be with us.
Flip phone and a friggin' beeper. Go ahead, Merrill. Go ahead. What do you got?
Said Rob's doing a great job. Oh. Tony Finn just called and said Rob's doing a great job today. No, seriously, don't forget, no props. We got Andy Lang, the prop master. I can't bring props on the show. It's not appropriate. But Rob did want me to mention once again, 2-for-1 basketball special. Hoops 179 gets you a full 30 days and nights of both college and pro. 2 for the price of 1. Hoops 179. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Free NBA play for the show. I'm not big on trying to fade teams that are red hot or catch falling knives with cold teams. But when it normally does, when a trend changes, there's usually a catalyst. And I think the Cleveland Cavaliers might be hitting that catalyst right now. They've gone 13-1 against the spread their last 14, but they've been off now for 3 days. They've had COVID protocols hit on Sunday after their last game on Saturday. I think this is the distraction that's going to set them back down to earth. Meanwhile, the Celtics have underachieved this season. They're coming off a loss, and they've actually gone 7-2 against the spread off their previous 9 straight-up losses. So it's a good focus spot for Boston, a good spot to fade the red-hot Cavs. Boston Celtics, a little bit of a contrarian favorite, minus 6.5 tonight on Wednesday.
Oh, like it. All right. Going with the Celtics in this one. We also have another angle of the day that came in that talks about if Tony Finn's $2 Tuesday best bet wins and it's, what is that, more than 70 degrees outside in Tampa, then you definitely want to go under in the Houston Rockets game. That's what we're hearing. Let's see the best bet recap here with the flip phone. I still can't with it. Andy Lang looking at the Cavaliers tonight as his dog hitting 6.5. The best bet, DeMarcus Cousins under 13.5 points. Why is he in the league? Rob Vino's here with the Rockets plus 9.5 here tonight for his dog. The best bet, though, Cavaliers Celtics. Look for some points here tonight, guys. Over 216.5 at the Garden. Steve Merrill with a flip phone and a beeper. Man, what kind of pawn shop do you are? The Thunder plus 6 here for his dog tonight. Plus, he likes the Celtics in a contrarian favorite. As long as the total goes over, he'll bet them again tomorrow. Contrarian play of the day is the Thunder plus 6 here tonight, guys, which Steve Merrill happens to agree with. And so does our good friend John Ryan over at Sports Memo. That is their play of the day. All right, guys, don't forget, best bets, though, all locked and loaded here, guys, with Andy Lang as well as Rob Dino and Steve Merrill. You can head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Grab those plays. Let's see. It's Wednesday now, so we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're going to have multiple bowl games coming up here, obviously. The NFL is probably going to play 7 days a week moving forward now that they've given it to us on a Monday. A lot of ways to make some money here to pay for some of those holiday gifts that you might have had to fork out for. So it starts by heading over and visiting these guys at WagerTalk.com. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, guys. Don't forget, join Andy, join Rob, and join Steve Merrill over at WagerTalk, and then come back and join us again tomorrow as we do it all. Oh, my God, we're holding a sign up. He's got a sign. I don't know what it says, but he's got a sign, and he's got to be.
Want to know what it said?
Yes,
Very
please.
Rude.
That was just a sign for everybody to buy Steve Merrill's 179 special.
Oh, thank you, Rob. That's
there we go.
very nice. That was a very polite gesture by Rob Vino.
Let me ask you,
Brought up
do
the
you
right
have a
way,
179 special? Because I didn't hear it. I didn't realize that. All
Yeah,
right,
my page
guys,
was a little delayed today. My page was a little delayed. I think I'll find out in a few moments if there's a special or not. I'm waiting for someone to text me.
It takes a little while. Get out of here, guys. Good luck with your plays here tonight. Lord save us all. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I can't. Oh, God. I can't.
We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not the premier sports betting information provider in North America. From a massive library of free picks and handicapping videos, daily shows, podcasts, and articles, our free live odds service, a team of the nation's finest sports handicappers supported with top-rated customer service, we pride ourselves on being the leaders in our industry, always looking to evolve and stay multiple steps ahead of our competitors. With that being said, we truly do want to let you know we appreciate your patronage. Moving forward, 7-day all-access packages will be reduced from $119 to just $99, and our 30-day all-access packages are also being slashed moving forward, going from $349 to under $10 a day at only $299. Our new pricing is already active and available just by going to your favorite handicapper's homepage right now.